Hello, everybody. We're at our new moon now in Virgo, happening Monday, 8:52 p.m. Eastern. And I decided that to honor the Virgo sign, I was not going to wear any makeup for this video. Virgo is very au naturel, but I also wore my gold star earrings because Virgo likes to have the gold star. It likes to do things perfect. And so we've already been seeing the sun travel through Virgo since the end of August. So maybe you're already feeling that side of you ramp up. You might be feeling compelled to write things down, make lists, get yourself organized. You might be feeling compelled to declutter your place or clean, cook, make preparations for something a little longer term. Maybe you suddenly feel that you have the patience to tackle something that requires a little more detail. That's Virgo energy. So we're in a new moon in Virgo, and there's a couple of planets also in Virgo all at the same time. So it's super emphasizing that. And it's been a really intense last month, hasn't it, folks? The heat waves, reports of, forest fires and Taliban, and now Texas taking away women's rights. And it's just been really a lot for the average person, let alone the highly empathic, sensitive people to process, especially when there's a lot of heat and a lot of just hectic stuff. Everyone I talk to has something intense going on and many things at once. And they're feeling, a little overwhelmed, a little exhausted, a little anxious. So it does feel like that's cooling down and shifting into something else. And, if you're here in Quebec, where I am, we've just brought in the vaccine passports. So that's another very Virgo type thing. Health and details and proofs and paperwork and cards and codes and apps, and get the details and make sure you're proving your records properly. That's one side of it. We also have, of course, planets traveling through Aquarius that are rebelling and upset about how that might affect our overall personal freedoms and rights, which is equally valid. So those two things might feel a bit at odds during this new moon as well. But let's take a look at our overall chart, because there's some really good aspects this month, which is always encouraging. So the first thing, of course, is a new moon is always a dark moon, and it's always conjunct or right on top of the sun. So you have the sun and the moon superloaded in the same sign when there's a new moon. The new moon is the dark moon, which means that you are planting the seed of something new. Something, if you think about literally, oh, I want this, or I want to do that, I'm going to plant the seed. I'm putting it down in the earth. I'm patting the earth. So can't see the seed. I have to just know that it's there. And then I water it, and hopefully it gets enough sunlight. And then there's a lot of patience. And eventually that seed will start to grow roots underground, and eventually it will start to pierce through the soil. But there's an awful lot of process in that, right? So this is what we do on new moons. And it doesn't mean that by the full moon it's all going to happen. It just means, you're planting something at the new moon that's going to grow a little bit later. So it's a great time to always think at every new moon, what am I planting? What's my strongest intention? And then plant it well, but be patient and take care of it and be patient for it to grow. So the sun and the moon are in Virgo, and also Mars is still in Virgo. about 10 degrees away. It's still impacting it because it's still the same sign, and Mars is a sometimes difficult energy. Mars in Virgo is like very, well, it'd be very detail oriented, but to the point of being maybe a bit picky, a bit fanatical. Mars in Virgo could be the kind of person who is hovering over you going, did you do that right? Are you doing that detail? Did you remember what I said? No, that's not the way I wanted it. No. People usually hate that kind of energy. However, like I say, with all signs and planets, they all have their role and they all have their place where they are the strongest and where they're needed. So if you are in a hospital bed or you need surgery, you want that Mars and Virgo person not missing a detail. If you are an artist or doing something creative and you need to master your work and it's very highly, detailed, patient, perfectionistic work, Mars and Virgo can be helpful there too. So it's a good time to do those activities. Do you need to build something, paint something, woodworking? Do you want to go back to edit something you've written? Do you want to really find the right color for your new house, or something where it's like scrutinizing and discerning? Then Mars and Virgo, along with Sun and Moon, is really strong. So it can be a good time to do that. However, when you put that energy of scrutiny onto other things in life, not so easy. It doesn't work very well when you do it to people or to your relationships. Now, if you do it to their face, how come you say that all the time? Why don't your socks match? How come I noticed you do that thing all the time, like with your foot when you're nervous. Can you stop doing that? Like, nobody likes that. But if you apply the scrutiny and the detail and the analysis and the naming of things and the putting things in the right box, in the right categories, if you are doing therapy, or this is like reflecting on things that have happened or trying to understand something deeper without it being in that person's face directly, then it can be, again, a great time. You might have this eureka moment because you've been able to go deeper than usual to understand, like, oh gosh, every time I have like stomach issues, it was actually anxiety. It wasn't like some terrible thing wrong with my liver. It was just, I was so stressed, my stomach was tight. Like, so you can get to that kind of nitty-gritty detail. And I did mention the stomach on purpose and anxiety because Virgo rules the intestines. Virgo is the sign that rules the intestines. So digestive issues abound when there's like Sun, Moon, Mars, and Virgo. You might be having something to do with that. It might be also a good time, again, to scrutinize your diet, take a look at, make, food journals, getting tested for food allergies, thinking about your daily routines and what supports you. It's a great time for that. So, Virgo, for me, I always feel like when we get to Virgo, the fall begins. So, you feel summer ending and school is beginning and everybody's going back and everybody's, getting themselves prepared for that chapter of the fall. And we just sort of settle in and still enjoy some good weather before we worry about it getting cold. So fall can be a really beautiful time where things calm down and you sort of come back inward, because once we get to the equinox on the 21st, we go back into yin energy. Spring and summer are yang, masculine energy, extroverted, fiery, hot, loud, busy, And then the fall and winter are yin, where we go, it's more feminine energy, it's cooler, it's more quiet, it's darker, wet, calm. And so we really shift gears in the fall. So just taking some time to let your body and your mind settle down and settle in from the summer we had, because the yang energy was just over the top with the heat waves and the fires. So it could take us a little longer to settle in to our fall mode. Now, the nice thing about this new moon is that the sun and moon are making a really nice aspect to Pluto and to Uranus. So it's making that grand trine that I'll mention. It's like a perfect triangle. And that's where those planets are interacting and getting along just perfectly. So they help each other out. So a grand trine in Earth, because Taurus is Earth, Pluto and Capricorn is Earth, suggests like a lot of like getting stuff done, practicality, budgeting, cleaning, building, physical exercise, moving things about, errands, really moving life back into that physical space, trying to get out of your head, and trying to cool your emotions down a little bit and just like, let's roll up our sleeves, let's get stuff done. So when there's a trine with Uranus and Pluto, you're going to be able to get a lot done. You might have, maybe a surge of inspiration or energy to clean up your life. Like I said, I don't know, I look around my place and I know like I've accumulated a lot of things over the pandemic. So it's time to go back and sort through the shelves and see, do I really need stuff? Do I have stuff all over my bulletin boards that is no longer relevant? Do I have, it's like combing through your things. That's a very, practical get her done. Maybe it's a good angle for renovations as well, because Pluto can be, tearing down walls, explosions. Pluto can be like, we're knocking out a wall. I want this place bigger. We're adding an extension. And Uranus is also just like going to make things go quickly, sometimes maybe a little unpredictably, or you do something a little bit quirky or different than what is typically expected or what you first thought. And then again, with all that Virgo energy shining the light on all the details, like it's a good time with this aspect to do that project, rip out that wall, redesign, draw the new floor plans, figure out what you're going to do if you're moving house. It's just a great time for that. So if you like this time of year, and I know lots of people love the fall, and a lot of people say they have a hard time with Virgo energy. And I think it's because it requires you to sit and think harder and, work harder mentally than a lot of people might want to. But there's lots of us that really enjoy that side. And life is supporting you to like go in there and get a lot of stuff sorted out and done, planned and ready. Now, Mars is also making a good aspect exactly to this Pluto. So again, that just adds extra oomph. Now, Mars and Pluto trine. Also, we're seeing a lot of dramatic stuff in the news. I mean, you could say we always are, yeah, but this year just seems bloody crazy to me. How, like, the scale of, seems to me the scale of these natural storms and fires and floods and landslides and hurricanes and tornadoes. It feels like we're seeing them increase in intensity and frequency. So Mars and Pluto definitely brings some destruction in its wake too. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. Some clearing some energy there. So Mars, Pluto, it's so intense that it needs to move mountains. So if you have all of that intensity and nowhere for it to go, that's when it can become a destructive energy. However, Mars and Pluto are in a good angle to each other right now. They're not. If that was square, it would be a lot harder. Then you could see stuff much more severe, or accidents, or more devastation from things than we have. But in your personal life, you just really want to harness your strong will to whatever goals you have right now. But you also want to do it, how do you say that? Mars and Pluto can be so strong that it can overwhelm itself. So like, let's say your goal is, getting back to your running routine or some exercise routine. Well, Mars and Pluto is just going to be like gung ho. I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to get back to where I was. Yeah, okay. But you might hurt yourself in the process if you're too fast or too intense. So you have to find a way to harness your desire and your will that strongly, but you have to still pace yourself. Virgo would be a little better at pacing themselves, step by step by step. Now, what else do we have going on? Well, there's always a couple of aspects that are a little difficult in every month, right? This month, it's interesting because the Sun, Moon, and Mars there in Virgo are opposing Neptune. Now, Neptune is in Pisces, and according to this chart, like I say, it's always cast as if it's New York City, as if it's Toronto, Montreal, Miami, like it's Eastern time zone. So that Neptune is in the 12th house, and it's opposing Mars, Moon, and Sun. Usually that aspect can sort of mean somebody that sabotages themselves. Or it can mean sometimes sneakiness or deception. And with Neptune in the 12th house, it would be very hard for us to recognize that or see that. It's very hidden in that placement. So, again, details, scrutinizing, tiny steps, dotted lines, splitting hairs. It's how you're going to protect yourself from sabotaging your progress by going gung-ho too soon, too fast, too hard, and not pacing yourself. Small steps, break it down. Gives you room to see, am I sabotaging myself here? Am I procrastinating? Am I saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do, and then you never do? And if it comes to other people around you or other things that could be a bit sneaky or not clear, not clean and clear with you, well, when you're detail oriented, it shows you. When you're step by step, it's harder for people to pull the wool over on you. So it's definitely emphasizing the Virgo side of life. Now, the next thing we have going on is Mercury, which is in Libra, and it is opposed to Chiron, which is in Aries, again in that 12th house. So what could that mean? That can mean like struggling with your communications, struggling with your thoughts, struggling with back and forth, weighing. Maybe, oh, but it's hard for them to, oh, but what if, and then, another angle would be, that would be like a Mercury in Libra, rehashing things, trying to see things from all angles. Opposing Chiron in Aries, well, Chiron in Aries is like the wound of the self, meaning Sometimes it's hard for you to feel you've got a strong sense of yourself. You could be pleasing everybody or sacrificing too much for people. And again, that Chiron is in your house number 12 and very hard to see. Very hard to see right now if you are over pleasing, over giving. So you just want to watch for that a little bit. You'll know because you will probably start ruminating and thinking about or can't get your head off of somebody or some situation. Sometimes I would say if you can't stop thinking about or you keep repeating something in your mind, even if you don't have an answer, it definitely intuitively tells you something's bothering you, something is off, something feels off. And so if you on it regarding anything are rehashing and can't stop that, it's not a time to say yes or no. It's not a time to act because you're not certain enough. And because these other influences could mean that you maybe give in and you end up regretting your decision. Now, Mercury in Libra is supported by Saturn up there in Aquarius. And that's a nice thing because if you focus again on pulling yourself out of any worry or self-doubt loop in your mind and focus more on, Saturn is more structured. Focus on the bigger picture when it's trine Saturn in Aquarius. Focus on the bigger picture, society, the long-term game, the symbolic meaning of something, instead of, why did she say that? And then you wake up the next day, why did she say that? You wake up the next day, why is she saying that? If you can't get your mind to stop doing that, then that's more the Mercury Chiron going on. It's not fun and it doesn't lead anywhere. Whereas Mercury Saturn would be, why did she say that? It'd be like, okay, well, let's look at where I'm coming from. What's going on in my life right now? Let's look at where she's coming from. What's her circumstance right now? Oh, well, you know what? Like, there's a lot of stress in both our lives, so maybe she's having a difficult time and it's not personal. I'll just let it go. Higher minded, right? Bigger picture, detach, higher minded. That's what it's asking us to do. Another feature of this chart is Venus, which is also in Libra. So Mercury and Venus in Libra bring a strong sense of wanting things to be fair and beautiful and peaceful, wanting everybody to get along, wanting to have smooth, nice communication, easy communication with people. And Venus is also supported by Jupiter in Aquarius. So that's lovely for socializing. Really nice. Again, higher-minded, broad-minded, big picture, global, societal. It's a good time to have sort of those high-minded or academic type conversations about, or existential conversations about the world. It's a good time for art. It's a good time to write, whether it's just your own journal or not. Good time to talk to people that you feel would expand your horizons. Read things that expand your horizons. Very good time for that. And then the final thing is that Venus is also squaring off with Pluto right now, though. Even though that won't last very long, it's just a few days around the new moon. But Venus and Pluto, when they square off, can sometimes mean power struggles with women. Could be women with women or men with women, depends who. It's just usually just suggests, your desires are met with force, an opposing, forceful, controlling, intense influence. And then Venus is like, I want things to be nice. And Pluto's like, oh, I'm going to make that. So, if you feel pushback or control from people. Try to detach from that stuff and go gravitate towards that side of you where you're just either like, let's get her done, let's make plans, let's really take our time to see the baby steps of stuff. And let's align with who feels good to talk to and what feels uplifting to read and what expands your knowledge. And, the conflictual stuff isn't huge to me this month with this new moon. The main thing you want to watch for is, just like I said, if you're ruminating and you're anxious and your mind can't settle about something or someone, just don't act right now. It's not the time to make a decision. Other than that, you're pretty safe. So let's take a look now at our cards for the month, for this moon. And then we will, of course, do readings for everybody's sign. All right, so I'm going to pull a few cards to see what it adds to this new moon energy. All right, so our first card is the Nine of Swords, and this is exactly the card that I'm talking about with, self-deception, possibly. Mental anguish is a side of this card. Overanalyzing, being too hard on yourself, verbal abuse, whether it's from some other person or whether it's you towards yourself. And sometimes it's sneakiness. So, and this doesn't mean it's happening to you personally. You just might see it around you, see it on, or just be well aware of it, in the mainstream media. But, it's in the air. There's something. I can't quite tell what's coming, but I just have this feeling of a buildup of something like this, like a surprise. So we'll see what happens. The next card is the Five of Swords. And again, that's another card of like conflicts, arguments, temporary separation, walk away, quit. There might be something that you're doing that you really need to stop doing. Like I mentioned, that other card, it could be anxiety. Well, maybe it's just time that you give up a few things that cause you anxiety. It could be that general. It could actually be that you've got a horrible coworker or boss. It's not going to get any better and you got to quit. It could be that you have a partner that you don't trust anymore and it's time to take a break. Or it could be that you're just seeing all of everything going on in the news, and maybe it's time to take a break from the news too. Things you can't control. Now our next card is much better. This is the Four of Discs or Pentacles, and it says power, and it's a Capricorn card, and you just look how different that is. So it's all restored and balanced and secured like a fortress. And it's lighter and brighter. It's clean. So again, this card speaks about that earth side of like, remove whatever unsavory elements are around you or within you and get some structure and discipline, get some practical energy going. This is a good card for financial security and stability and for organization. Our next card is Seven of Cups. Well, this is not the nicest card either. As you can see, it's like a swamp. So swampy water means stagnant water. And that can mean emotion that has been held in for too long, that it's festering and it's maybe causing some imbalances emotionally or even physically. Sometimes this card can speak about addictions. Sometimes this card can speak about infidelities or cheating or sexual dysfunctions. Let's just broadly say that. So just pay attention if that's around you. I don't know if you can hear the geese. They're already leaving. Okay, our next card is the Magician. That's nice. So again, this is like completely different. The Magician is just like full of enthusiasm and has multiple skills to get whatever they want happening. And as you can see, the card is light and bright and bouncy and airy and lots of space and lots of room to move and all these tools in his altar that are actually just floating in midair around him that he can go grab them at any time he needs them. So again, that's really like another push of try to get out of your head and out of these rabbit holes in your head and focus on what you have control over and what you can get done. The Magician is bigger than just like, oh, I'm going to clean the garage this weekend. You know, that's more like the Four of Discs. The Magician is more like, how can I get ahead of the game and implement a project or something for a business I want? It's how do I redesign my life, redesign this. And the next card is the Empress. So that's very nice, like a very nurturing, divine feminine presence around. Maybe that's you, maybe that's someone you could go to or consult with. Could be your mom, your grandma, could be a good friend, could be a boss, supervisor, a client that you have who's got that just beautiful, nurturing, wonderful energy. You should spend time with this person or, bounce your ideas or your issues with them and ask for help from the right person, from a nurturing person. Or you might be asked by someone else to be that person for them. Wow, now we're getting all the major arcana popping up. This is good. So now we have the Art or the Temperance card, the Witch, the Alchemist. So this is again about like manifesting things on a bigger scale. But this is all about, divine timing. Everything will be mixed together and it will happen when it's mixed in the right way, then it'll happen. So this is, the cards are shifting a corner here. They're turning a corner for the better. Oh, very nice. We have the King of Cups showing up. This is always a nice, sincere, maybe sentimental, romantic, fatherly, nurturing, thoughtful kind of guy. Sensitive guy. This could be someone around you. This could be someone who shows up, whether it's your love life or as a helper or suddenly they're a neighbor or an employee. Who knows? But keep your eyes open. We've got like the Empress and now we've got the King of Cups. This to me brings in like a lot of, heart-centered energy. Like anytime you're too much in your head, you're imbalancing yourself. Try to come back to your heart, connect to the people that are also can hear how you feel and listen. And, be that person for others too right now. There's also, the Art card and the King and the nurturing of the Empress. These are all patient energies. Be patient with everything. And finally, another cup, Princess of Cups. So we've got the King and the Princess of Cups. This is, usually like a very sort of dreamy, artsy, sensitive girl or a young mother. We've got the turtle in the shell. Usually that's a motherhood symbol. We've got the lotus and fish, and we have a nice swan at the top. All very gentle animals. Very, the lotus is like triumph in adversity, blossoming even in adversity. It's a Buddhist symbol of compassion. So again, what I'm seeing here is we have like 3 sort of difficult cards that suggest that you need to really root out either, bad habits in yourself or in your thinking. That it could be reflected in people that are around you. You might have to really take a look at cleaning out your life in terms of your thoughts or who you're around, if it's stimulating positive or negative effects in your life to hang around certain people or stick with certain atmospheres at school or at work or whatever. There's definitely a feeling that you got to let go or walk away from something, minimize it or walk away from it so that you can get on this other lovely track, which is like this nice pushing forward with your goals, allowing things to unfold, like lots of support around, and patience and understanding people. If you're not in that situation where you feel you're well surrounded, keep going. Don't give up. Don't give up until you find those right people for you, till you find that supportive tribe around you. Don't give up. All right, so let's see, how can we specify the readings for everybody today? So let's see what question would be good to ask for everybody's reading. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm not really sure that I get a strong pull to phrase the question. So I'm just going to pull a card generally for every sign and see, very open, what comes up for you for this new moon. What do you need to do right now for this new moon? All right, I'm also going to light some of my sage before I do this, so you're welcome to do that too. Doesn't have to be sage. It could be Palo Santo, cedar, could be juniper, could be another herb that's all right. So let's just start now with Aries. What do you need to focus on, Aries? Oh, you got the universe card. So you're focusing on endings, chapters that are ending, putting closure to things, wrapping up business, reviewing your life, reviewing, that can be even a period of a couple of years or more. There's it's a number 21 in the cards. So it could mean literally 21 weeks, 21 months that you're sort of looking back and reviewing where you've been, where you're going. Sometimes this card, can provoke an awful lot of weighing, because usually what I find is people are in a phase where they're like, do I, throw out this thing that is half built, or do I take it on and finish it? Like, should I put the energy back and just do it, or should I just let it go? And they'll usually be doing that about relationships as well. Do I make amends with so-and-so, or do I just walk away and let it go? Do I still want those dreams that I originally thought I wanted, or maybe I have new dreams now? I can let them go. So you're in a period of endings and letting things go to end a major chapter. All right, Taurus. What do you need to focus on this new moon? You've got the Justice card. So usually for me, this card means paperwork and legal matters and things that need to be written down and made official, or reviewing documents, signing of a lease, signing of other kinds of agreements, anything that needs your attention to detail with paperwork, anything. Maybe you don't want to just have verbal agreements. Maybe you want to have written agreements. Maybe it can be as mundane as just, make backup copies of your work, or make CC people on emails just to make sure things are clear, because this card usually means there's scrutiny to, what's fair and sometimes what's legal and or needs to be official. So you just want to back everything up. Sometimes this card can mean legal in terms of legalizing a relationship, can mean marriages. But again, this card formalizes an agreement. So that's interesting. I mean, it can be applying for, a loan for a house or a mortgage. It's something official. All right, Gemini, let's see what you need to focus on this new moon. And we got the 10 of Wands. Yeah, okay, so you're in the camp of needing to let something go and walk away from something that's way too heavy on you. There's something you've just been doing or putting up with for far too long. This is the oppression card. It means you feel beyond sick of it or stuck with something that you would really rather not be doing. And so it's not a fun card. At this point, when I see the oppression card, sometimes people have gotten to the point where their back has gone out because they hate their job so much, or, they've got horrible insomnia because they can't make a decision, but something's been eating you up and bothering you for a long time. So whatever that is, it is definitely time to free yourself of whatever that is. All right, Cancers. You've got the Strength card. That's nice. 9 of Wands. This is often a card of travel and higher learning. So we might not be traveling much right now. I don't know about you, but we're heading into fall, and fourth wave seems to be in the air. I'm not going to travel right away, but you might be, or you might be planning travels in the future. If not, then it certainly encourages you to think about it. Think about expanding your horizons. Where would you go? Do you want to make any changes to your, again, it's education is part of this card sometimes. Would you want to go back to school, take an extra course? Would you want to certify yourself in something? Do you want to educate yourself about anything that expands your world? It's a Sagittarius card. And, you're holding on to the good that you've already built in your life. That's another part of this card is those wands are all neatly placed and standing behind the main one, which is ruled, at the top by the sun. So you've got everything pretty well in place, and now you're sort of maintaining what good you've built. And you can still expand from there. So that's nice. All right, Leos. What do you need to look at, Leo? Well, you've got the Devil card. So yeah, you're also in that camp of needing to let go and look at who and what's around you. Particularly, like I mentioned, that Neptune moon opposite Mars aspect of, can you really trust 100% somebody around you? This is always somebody, if it represents a person around you, it's somebody controlling, greedy, sneaky, narcissistic. They don't have good intentions. You can't trust them. If it's you, then you're dealing with your own temptations or addictions, or you're going, you're pushing yourself above and beyond something because of a, well, usually because of a temptation or a desire. You're pushing yourself beyond something that is realistic for you. That's another way the devil could play out, is temptation. So you want to look at that aspect and you want to clean that up in your life. If you can spot who those people are, or if you can spot those things in yourself, it's time to do the cleanup. So Virgos, happy birthday to all the Virgos. Your card is the luxury card. Very nice. Spoil yourself. Pamper yourself. Moon in Cancer. Be comfortable. Take care of your feelings. Do what feels nice. Be with who feels reassuring and soothing. This is like a fountain of water flowing, and it's all clean and it's abundant. And so for you, Virgo, it looks like it's a great time, and a great time to rest, enjoy, and express yourself. Take it easy where you can. Feels like a really nice flow of harmony with people around you right now too. Looks like a really lovely new moon for you, energizing you. That's very nice. Okay, Libras. You have the Two of Swords, and it's a Libra card. Look at that. This says truce. No, peace. Sorry, peace. You've got the moon in Libra on this card and the peace card. So this is a nice time for you too, this new moon. This is a lot of ease with people as well. This is light, nice communication. This is letting yourself think about or daydream about things. This is, only being around people that you feel, again, light and harmony with, and not forcing it beyond anything to go deeper or put yourself in situations where you're not comfortable. This is a beautiful, light, peaceful card. So you might be making more peace or amends, or you might just find yourself around people that are just, just nicer and more compatible, more aligned. It's certainly not a time for pushing anything or struggling. So it feels like a really nice new moon for you as well. Scorpios. Scorpios, you've got the Prince of Discs. So you've got someone around, unless maybe it's you, but you've got like sort of a freeloader, riding on everybody else's hard work, taking credit for things guy. Procrastinating, lazy, but wants success, wants a title, wants it handed to him without working for it. If this is in a relationship, then you're with somebody who's probably not quite stepping up. They have the potential to, but they're not doing it, so you might be very frustrated. If that happens to be you and you can recognize your own attitude in that, then, this guy basically just needs a bit of a kick in the butt. He needs like some boundaries or consequences. So if you're dealing with him, that's what you got to do, or you cut him loose. And if it's you who's got that sort of, attitude and things are not going well for you, you're going to have to really be honest with yourself. Like, do I have a bad attitude right now? And you'll have to work on that. So there's someone around that just has like a crappy, bad attitude, bad mindset that's making things slow down. Alrighty, let's take a look for you, Sag. Sagittarius has the success card. Well, good, because sometimes, Sag, your readings have been difficult, haven't they? So now you've got a success card. This is great. Jupiter and Leo, go out there and shine your light. Have fun. Be funny. Crack your jokes. Gather people together if you want. You know, be a little spontaneous or adventurous right now. There's room for you to have some more fun and to feel a little more like yourself again, is what I'm hearing. So if you've been going through that over the summer, and let's face it, Sag probably doesn't love it, you know, when we're traveling through Cancer months and Gemini months, it's your lower time of year. And now, you know, Virgo and Sag isn't always compatible, but for right now, I'm just feeling like there's a bit of relief in the air for you, and you should get out there and make the most of that by I don't know how else to say it. Like, I just get a feeling you've been blocking yourself or feeling thwarted or, yeah, stopped from doing things or from being your full self. And right now it feels like you're getting a go card to just like go do what you know you want to do or what you like to do. Just go be yourself. So there's a window of time where this is nice for you. All right, Capricorns. All right, Capricorn, your card is Queen of Swords. So you're dealing with an older female who is sort of critical, very fiercely intelligent, but critical, and sometimes a bit cruel, maybe a bit too cold about stuff. And, you know, she's sitting up on her cloud and she wants what she wants, and she's got her sword there and she's cut off someone's head. She's got it in the other hand. Off with their heads. So you've got someone around who's quite prickly and difficult to deal with, and they're always right. So, you know, if that's a mother or mother-in-law, if that's a boss or a neighbor, whoever it is you're dealing with, you got to remember this lady is always right. You have to either avoid her if you can, or you have to appease her. But you don't let her control you. You don't let her push you around. You have to be strategic with this kind of lady. Sometimes this person could be like a narcissist, and sometimes it's just somebody who's very, you know, deep down very insecure and not very good with emotions and must control everything. And so she needs, you know, everybody walks on eggshells around her. But she's usually perceptive enough to know that people are walking on eggshells, so then she might get offended or angry. Like, things can escalate with a person like that pretty quickly. So, you know, you just don't let that person push you around, but otherwise you try to like calm the situation and not argue with her too. Yeah, so you might be dealing with that during this new moon. So yeah, there's not much more I can say unless you actually wrote to me and you had a particular person and that I could help you with. Otherwise, that's my best general advice for this type of archetype. All right, Aquarius, let's see for you what's going on. And you've got the 7 of discs. So this card says failure. I wonder if you're being hard on yourself right now. You know, Saturn is going through your sign. Saturn tends to make us get very serious and sober and question a lot of things, and on a, you know, on a more long-term or deeper level. And sometimes, you know, you might be holding yourself up against something you thought you were or that you'd have, or where you'd be at in your life by now, or how well did you do on something that you wanted to accomplish, like try not to be hard on yourself right now is what I'm getting. This card can sometimes mean a little bit of worry about finances, feeling like finances are a bit tight. And all of those Virgo planets are a great time to, rebudget if that's the case. Otherwise, sometimes this card comes up when there's issues of values differences or trust issues between people in relationships. So it's a deep exploration, this kind of card, of your values. What's really important to you right now? If you're holding yourself up to a standard, well, you have to look at, okay, if I feel like I expected X, Y, and Z, but I didn't get there, well, what does that say about what I really value? And how else can I work towards that? I think there's a need for you to step back and reframe how you see yourself or your life or others, so that there is no failure. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. And finally, Pisces. Your card is the Two of Discs, and that is the yin yang, the snake biting its tail, the card of change itself. So for you, Pisces, there's no big message about this is going to happen or that's going to happen. It's not feeling stuck. It's also not feeling secure or settled. You're in a period where it's like, for now, Virgo's your opposite sign, opposite time of year. It's not your strong time of year. Right now, it would be just like accept and allow that everything changes and everything's going to change again. Everything is temporary. And think of that as comforting, that everything is temporary. It's a deep message. It's simple, but it's a deep message. Everything's temporary. Everything changes. That's the nature of life, and it's okay. And you are okay, and you'll be okay. All right. If anyone would like a private reading with me or intuition coaching, then you can reach me here on the YouTube video or at river.rain-rain.com. I also have intuition coaching packages. And I just submitted my next book, which is going to come out in the spring. And that's going to be all about mediumship and how to connect to your loved ones on the other side, how to connect to your spirit guides, your animal guides and totems, how to interpret signs, all kinds of stuff in this book. I'm really excited. So you might want to keep your eyes out, and I'll definitely be letting people know when it comes out. I hope you have a really wonderful and, productive, lovely new moon.